Hey guys, it's Rista. Today is day 102 of me reading through the Bible in 1 year. Today is April 12th, and we're going to start reading in Joshua 5. But before I start, I do want to say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for yet another day. Thank you for the warmth of the weather that you're bringing in. Thank you for the family you've surrounded us with and the friends that you've blessed us with. I ask that as I read these words aloud that you soften my heart, you open my ears to the revelations of your Holy Spirit. God, and I ask that you do the same to anybody who comes into contact with these videos. In your name I pray, amen. Joshua 5:1 through 7:15. When all of the Amorite kings west of the Jordan and the Canaanite kings who lived along the Mediterranean coast heard that the Lord had dried up the Jordan River so the people of Israel could cross, they lost heart and they were paralyzed with fear because of them. At the time, the Lord told Joshua, make flint knives and circumcise the second generation of Israelites. So Joshua made flint knives and he circumcised the entire population of Israel at Gilbeth Haraloth. Joshua had to circumcise them because all the men who were old enough to fight in battle when they had left Egypt had died in the wilderness. Those who left Egypt had all been circumcised, but none of those born after the Exodus during the years of the wilderness had been circumcised. The Israelites had traveled in the wilderness for 40 years until all the men who were old enough to fight in battle when they left Egypt had died. For they disobeyed the Lord, and the Lord vowed that he would not let them enter the land that he swore to give us, the land flowing with milk and honey. So Joshua circumcised their sons, those who had grown up to take their father's places, for they had not been circumcised on the way to the promised land. After all the males had been circumcised, they rested in camp until they were all healed. Then the Lord said to Joshua, today I have rolled away the shame of your slavery in Egypt, so that place has been called Gilgal to this day. While the Israelites were camped at Gilgal on the plains of Jericho, they celebrated Passover on the evening of the 14th day of the first month. The very next day they began to eat unleavened bread and roasted grain harvested from the land. No manna appeared on the next day. They first ate from the crops of the land, and it was never seen again. So from that time on, Israelites ate from the crops of Canaan. When Joshua was near the town of Jericho, he looked up and he saw a man standing in front of him with a sword in hand. Joshua went to him and demanded, are you friend or foe? Neither, he replied, I'm the commander of the Lord's army. At this, Joshua fell with his face on the ground in reverence. I'm at your command, Joshua said. What do you want your servant to do? The commander of the Lord's army replied, take off your sandals, for the place that you're standing is holy. And Joshua did as he was told. Now the gates of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. No one was allowed to go in or out. But the Lord said to Joshua, I've given you Jericho, its king, and all of its strong warriors. You and your fighting men should march around the town for 6 days. 7 priests walk ahead with the ark, each carrying a ram's horn. On the 7th day, you are to march around the town 7 times, the priests blowing the horns, and when you hear the priests give one long blast on the ram's horn, all of the people will shout as loud as they can. Then the walls of the town will collapse, and the people can charge straight into the town. So Joshua called together the priests, and he said, take up the Ark of the Covenant, and assigned 7 priests to walk in front of it, each carrying a ram's horn. He gave the orders to the people, march around the town, and the armed men will lead the way in front of the Ark of the Lord. After Joshua spoke to the people, the 7 priests with the ram's horns started marching in the presence of the Lord, blowing the horns as they marched. The Ark of the Lord's covenant followed behind. Some of the armed men marched in front of the priests with the horns, some behind the ark with the priests, continuously blowing the horns. Do not shout, do not even talk, Joshua commanded, not even a single word from any of you until I tell you to shout, then shout. So the Ark of the Lord was carried around the town once that day, and then everyone returned to spend the night at the camp. Joshua got up early the next morning, and the priests again carried the Ark of the Lord. The 7 priests with the ram's horn marched in front of the Ark of the Lord, blowing the horns again. The armed men marched both in front of the priests and with the horns, and behind the Ark of the Lord. All of this time, the priests were blowing their horns. On the 2nd day, again they marched around the town and returned to camp. They followed this pattern for 6 days. On the 7th day, the Israelites got up at dawn, and they marched around the town as they had before. But this time, they went around the town 7 times. The 7th time around, as the priest sounded the long blast on the horn, Joshua commanded the people, shout. For the Lord had given you the town. Jericho and everything in it must be destroyed. As an offering to the Lord, only Rahab, the prostitute, and the others in her house will be spared, for she protected our spies. Do not take any of the things set apart for destruction, or you yourselves will be destroyed, and you'll bring trouble on the camp of Israel. Everything made of silver or gold or bronze or iron is sacred to the Lord and must be brought to his treasury. When the people heard the sound of the ram's horn, they shouted as loud as they could. Suddenly the walls of Jericho collapsed. and the Israelites charged straight into the town and captured it. They completely destroyed everything in it with their swords, men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, goats, and donkeys. Meanwhile, Joshua said to the two spies, "Keep your promise, go to the prostitute's house, bring her out along with your family." The men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, mother, brothers, and all the other relatives who were with her. They moved the whole family to a safe place near the camp of Israel. When the Israelites burned the town and everything in it, only the things made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron were kept for the treasure of the Lord's house. So Joshua spared Rahab and the prostitute and her relatives who were with her in her house, because she had hidden the spies that Joshua sent to Jericho, and she lives among the Israelites to this day. At the time, Joshua invoked this curse: "May the curse of the Lord fall on anyone who tries to rebuild the town of Jericho. At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay the foundation. At the cost of his youngest son, he will set up gates." So the Lord was with Joshua, and his reputation spread throughout the land. But Israel violated the instructions of the things that were meant to be set apart for the Lord. A man named Achan had stolen some of these dedicated things, so the Lord was angry with the Israelites. Achan was the son of Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah. Joshua sent some of his men to from Jericho to spy on the town of Ai, east of Bethel, near Beth Aven. When they returned, they told Joshua, "There's no need for us to all go up there. It won't take more than 2,000 or 3,000 to attack the men of Ai. Since there are so few of them, don't make all of our people struggle to get up there." So approximately 3,000 warriors were sent, but they were soundly defeated. The men of Ai chased the Israelites from the town gates as far as the quarries, and they killed about 36 who were retreating down the slope. The Israelites were paralyzed with fear at this turn of events, and their courage melted away. Joshua and the elders of Israel tore their clothing in dismay. They threw dust on their head. They bowed their face to the ground before the ark of the Lord until evening. Then Joshua cried out, "O sovereign Lord, why did you bring us across the Jordan River if you were going to let the Amorites kill us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side. Lord, what can I say now that the Israelites have fled from its enemies? For when the Canaanites and all the other people living in the land hear about it, they will surround us and wipe our name from the face of the earth. And then what will happen to the honor of your great name?" But the Lord said to Joshua, "Get up. Why are you lying on your face like this? Israel has sinned and broken my covenant. They have stolen something and I command it must be set apart for me. And they have not only stolen it, but they have lied about it and hidden it among their own belongings. This is why the Israelites were running from their enemies in defeat. For now the Israelites have been set apart for destruction. I will not remain with you any longer unless you destroy the things that were meant to be set apart for destruction. Get up, command the people of Israel to purify themselves in preparation for tomorrow. For this is what the Lord of God of Israel says. Hidden among you, O Israel, are the things set apart for the Lord. You will never defeat your enemies until you remove these things from among you. In the morning you must present yourselves by tribe, and the Lord will point out the tribe to which the guilty man belongs. That tribe must come forward with its clans, and the Lord will point out the guilty clan. That clan will come forward, and the Lord will finally point out the guilty family, and finally each member of the family must come forward one by one. The one who has stolen what was meant to be set apart for destruction for himself will be burned with fire, along with everything he has, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord, and he has done a horrible thing in Israel. Luke 15, 1-32. Tax collectors and other notorious sinners often came to listen to Jesus teach. This made the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law complain that he was associating with such sinful people, even eating with them. So Jesus told him this story. If a man has 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 others and go into the wilderness to search for the one who's lost until he finds it? And when he finds it, will he joyfully carry it on his shoulders? When he arrives, he will call together his friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, I found my lost sheep." In the same way, there's more joy in heaven over one lost sinner who repents and returns to God than over 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. Suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep her entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she'll call her friends and neighbors and say, "Rejoice with me, I found my lost coin." In the same way, there's joy in the presence of God's angels when one sinner repents. To illustrate the point further, Jesus told them a story. A man had 2 sons. The younger son told his father, "I want my share of your estate now before you die." So the father agreed to divide his wealth between the 2 sons. A few days later, the son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land, and there he wasted all of his money on wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding to the pigs looked good to him, but no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, "At home, even a hired servant has food enough to spare, and I'm dying here of hunger. I'll go home to my father, and I'll say, 'Father, I've sinned against you, and I'm no longer worthy to be called your son, but take me on as a hired servant.' So he returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against you, and I'm no longer worthy of being called your son.' But the father said to the servants, 'Quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get him a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet. Kill the calf we've been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine, he was dead and now he has returned. He was lost and now he's found.' So the party began. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. He asked one of the servants, 'What's going on?' 'Your brother is back,' he told him, 'and your father has killed the fatted calf, and we're celebrating because he has been safely returned.' The older brother was angry, and he wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied, 'All these years I've slaved for you, and I've never once refused to do a single thing that you've told me. And all that time you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with friends. Yet, when this son of yours comes back after squandering the money on prostitutes, you celebrate him with a fattened calf?' His father said to him, 'Look, dear son, you've always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day. For your brother was dead, and now he's come back to life. He was lost, and now he's found.'" Psalm 81, 1-16. Sing praises to God our strength. Sing to the God of Jacob. Sing. Beat the tambourine, play the sweet lyre and the harp, blow the ram's horn at new moon. And again at the full moon to call festival. For this is required by the decrees of Israel. It's a regulation of the God of Jacob. He made a law for Israel when he attacked Egypt to set us free. I heard an unknown voice say, "Now I have to take the load from your shoulders. I will free your hands from your heavy task. You cried to me in trouble, and I saved you. I answered the thundercloud, and you tested your faith when there was no water at Meribah. Listen to me, O people, while I give you stern warnings. O Israel, if you would only listen to me, you must never have a foreign god. You must never bow down before a false god. For it was I, the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I'll fill it with good things." But no, my people wouldn't listen. Israel did not want me around. So I let them follow their stubborn desires, living according to their own ideas. Oh, that my people would listen to me. Oh, that Israel would follow me, walking in my path. How quickly would I subdue their enemy? How soon my hands would be on their foes. Those who hate the Lord would cringe before him. They would be doomed forever. But I would feed you with the finest wheat. I would satisfy you with wild honey from the rock. Proverbs 13:1. A wise child accepts parents' discipline. A mocker refuses to listen to correction.